You know, nothing can prepare a man for YouTube. I don't care how long you've been on here. Nothing can prepare you for this. Because logic and reason and fact and truth, it doesn't matter on here. And if you try to post simple information that you think is foolproof, because you know, after a while on YouTube, you think you start to get cocky, you start to get, you know, you're getting good, or at least you think you are, at laying things out so it's so simple nobody can mess them up. But it doesn't work. It will not work. Anyway, I'm just putting up a bitchy video. You know, I'm laughing about it, but it's going to be kind of a bitchy video. Because yesterday, of course, I put up a vid. And I knew when I was putting up this vid, I was kind of crossing that line, going back, you know, putting up videos that actually have that kind of draw, that I'll draw, you know, morons in. But I wanted to put this out, because this is kind of how I feel. You know, part of it is kind of my view on the world, and that gave me a chance to put that out, and also to share some information with you. And, you know, given the majority of you do appreciate it, but the onslaught of crap that you get for posting videos like this, I swear to you guys, I just can't take it. I just can't take it. I'm not built for this. So I'm going to use this vid to kind of clear the deck and sweep off some of the crap and residue that was collected yesterday from this vid I put up. First off, let's go over what the vid was about yesterday. Let's read the title. How to disable the GPS tracking on your cell phone. Okay, that's the name of the vid. And so what I did here is I showed you a cell phone. This isn't a comic book. It's a cell phone. It's a cell phone that I use. And I disabled, like the video title says, the GPS tracking by taking the GPS chip out. So I have disabled the GPS tracking on my cell phone. Hence the title. Okay, addressing all the Captain Obviouses out there. I have disabled the GPS chip on my cell phone. However, yes, if I turn it on, they can still track the signal. Thank you. Now, I'm going to take a wild guess here, okay? I mean, it's pretty far out there, and maybe I'm dreaming, but most people realize that they can still track you by your electronic signature if your phone is on. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that. My point was, if you disable the GPS tracking chip, they can't track you using the GPS. Hence the title of the video. Everybody gets that, right? That they can't track you if your phone is off. They can't track the signal if there's no power going to the cell phone. However, if your GPS tracking chip is still in the phone, even with the phone off, they can track you using this chip. It's still powered. They can't track you with your electronic signature if the phone is off, with some exceptions. This is a basic, very basic phone. That's one of the reasons why I buy a very basic phone. A lot of your smartphones, which people are totally addicted to because they have to text people all the time, and they have to have the newest phone out there because they are so trendy, those can't even have the battery taken out of most of them. So they are constantly tracked whether you have it on or off. They're designed that way. It's a stronger cage for you because you have to have the trendiest phone possible. Which was my point of why I buy very basic technology phones. Okay? So we've established that. We're moving on. My final point to this is that GPS technology is extremely accurate. They can pretty much pinpoint your exact location. Electronic signature location or triangulation, not so much. It's not an exact science. In fact, it can really vary. It depends on how many cell towers there are around for this thing to ping against. So if you're way out in the middle of nowhere, it may be your location being triangulated maybe in square miles. If you're in the city, it may be blocks. But this is not an exact science. They can pretty much find out the approximate location, but not the exact pinpointed location that a GPS can deliver. On top of that, if you're in a car and they're trying to triangulate your location, let's say you're driving at 60 miles an hour, it's very difficult to locate, to get a pinpointed location using triangulation. It'll be an approximate area. Now, to even drive that home further, the government figured that out, and they weren't happy with that. So back in the early 2000s, by law, they required cell phone makers to install a GPS chip in them in order to get a more accurate location of that cell phone in use. I think it was like 350 feet. Back in the early 2000s, they required that the cell phone providers or makers would have to install GPS technology in them so they would at least be able to pinpoint your location within 350 feet. Before that, to give you an idea of how far off using electronic signature triangulation, it would be, it could be 400 feet or 500 feet or 1,000 feet, and they weren't happy with that. They wanted to know exactly where you are. That's why they put the GPS chip in there. If you think that I'm a little bit irritated with this, it's because I received, you wouldn't believe some of the comments I received on this. One guy is insisting that they can triangulate you within 25 inches. And he knows this because his uncle has a friend that has a daughter that's married to a guy that has a buddy in the higher-ups of cell phone technology in Area 51, and they can pinpoint you within 25 inches of your location with triangulation. And I'm like, how many comic books are you reading? This isn't the Avengers with Jarvis. That doesn't exist. You can't do that triangulating a position. It's just not that good. And then finally, to top all that in, I got my favorite kind of comment. Andrew wrote in with great logic this morning, hey, if you're not doing anything wrong, what do you need to worry about? Right? Because the government is here to protect us from terrorism. And that's why they're doing all this. It's for our safety. Woo! Yeah. That's why I hate smartphones and YouTube, pretty much. And I'll end it right here. I hope that clears everything up. Keep your cell phone off, and they won't be able to triangulate your position. If you can find this, like I showed you here, you can disable the GPS, and they will not be able to accurately pinpoint your position. However, it's not like I'm an underworld spy right now. I just want to keep up on this technology. Okay? That's the whole point, guys. All right? Thank you, everybody, for participating, especially all you Captain Obviouses. And Andrew, I really appreciate your philosophy. Just don't do anything wrong, and trust your government. They'll take care of you. Good night.